And we're live. Thank you for joining me for this week's 5-Minute Friday, this short show where I try to go through a question or answer a question that comes in through the week in 5 minutes. Questions, anything regarding free diving. This week it will be a bit of a follow up from the last week where I talked about the how you can use or attach a snorkel the best way to your mask, and I will link that video below. And there were a few. I see I've become now a meme also in social media that 5 minutes are never 5 minutes. So today we will add a countdown when I actually start the topic and see if I can make it then in 5 minutes. So thanks for pointing that out, that was not so successful in the past. And first, before I start, there were a few nice follow-up remarks and other questions that came in regarding the snorkel attachment topic. One of them was, I found really interesting, that apparently these snorkel holders, or I call them rubber aid or snorkel keepers, I saw them when I tried to find them actually where you buy them online. They are not all the same. The one that I prefer is actually quite flat. So it's just basically a piece of rubber, very flat, and it has a lot of flex, and that holds the snorkel very well. Those that I found online to buy on eBay and both also on Amazon, they are more like rounded. Not even sure if it's silicone, probably it's some sort of plastic. And I made the experience, if these do not really fit well, so if you don't have to stretch them over the snorkel, they will actually not hold your snorkel very well, and you might still lose it. So someone else pointed out a very good option is also to stick the snorkel through the back of your strap instead of the side of the strap. And I agree with that sticking it through the back will get the snorkel in the right position. However, you still have the problem then when you take the mask off for whatever reason, that the snorkel will fall down. And you just have to remember that it's only sticking there and not attached in any way to your mask. Okay, so the follow-up question now came in from Mark on Facebook. What is the best breathe up position? And that goes full circle to another video, which I will also link after I've done the live sequence here. I even think with that topic, what is the difference between a breathe up and a relaxation phase? I use the term relaxation phase for recreational freediving. Breathe up is when you do purposely under or over breathe, which is a topic in competitive freediving. So I will rephrase the question: what is the best breathe? There you have it. What is the best relaxation position? And now you can see the counter is down there, here. So let's start the countdown, and here we go. All right, so basically there are, let's say, 3 relaxation positions. Number 1, the one that we talked about most so far, with a mask and snorkel, face down. Number 2, being on your back and breathing while your airways are still exposed to the air. Number 3, you hold on to the rope and in a vertical position if it's a platform, or you hold on to the float and rest like that. They all have their pros and cons. Let's start with the pros and cons of, let's say, the one that we have talked about most yet. So, relaxation position with the mask and snorkel. That's the most common one for recreational freediving, for courses, for when you go snorkeling, when you have a fun session, and when you train with a buddy or several buddies. It has several advantages. One of them is you can always see what's happening below you. So the mask allows you to also get out of the way when 2 freedivers come up. They should not look up and check, like, is the float clear? Can I come up? That's your job while you are on the surface and basically relaxing and not doing anything. to get out of the way. So having a snorkel and a mask basically means when you are not diving, when it's not your turn to dive next, or when you're not buddying, you are in the relaxation position and still you're capable to get out of the way. And that's by far the most common situation for teaching situations and recreational freediving in general. Then there's a specialty is when you do no fins diving. When you do no fins diving, also in Molchanov's education, that's the only exception that we make, that you can dive right from the beginning. So we teach no fins diving in open water, so concentrate no fins already in the level 2 course and the advanced course. And there you can use a nose clip. That is simply through the technique of no fins. It's really hard to find a rhythm to equalize and then do the arm pull. And there is a certain danger in that if you would try that with a mask, that you could hurt an eardrum. So it is possible to use the nose clip right away from the first go. However, I still recommend, once you get comfortable with using the nose clip, for no fins diving, then go back and try to do it with the mask as well. It is possible. Obviously, you have to find your own rhythm. I'm always checking the clock now. Okay. So when you use a nose clip for deeper dives, competitive dives, for sure, you will most likely choose a relaxation position on your back. There you have then other problems, that your legs might sink down, and that creates then an arched back position. So you might have to support your legs and feet, maybe on the float, maybe with a sausage under your knees that keep your legs up, so you can completely relaxed while you are in this position. That has then its limits when there's a bit of waves going on, especially if the waves start to break. Then this position finishes very quickly, or reaches its limits very quickly. The third position, that means if you have a platform, so the rope comes from the top, holding on to the rope or holding on to the float, is doable with a nose clip or with the mask. You don't need a snorkel for that. However, it is not that easy to find a completely relaxed position in that. So you need some muscle activity to hold you up on a float or to hold you on a rope, and finding that balance, that you have an advantage from this position while not using any unnecessary, let's say, muscle activity to keep your airways above the water line, especially again if there's some water movement. That might take some time. However, once you have finished the relaxation phase, you take your full breath and you start to dive, there's no snorkel in the way, and you can do that with mask or with the nose clip in a very easy manner. You can do your first equalization before you start your dive, and you're good to go. So that is the quick roundup about the relaxation positions. And now last check on the clock, and yes, we are within 5 minutes. So thank you very much for these very interesting follow-up questions. And yeah, keep them coming. You can subscribe here on the YouTube channel so I can see when a message comes in. I'm always very excited when such interesting questions come in. So that's it for this week. I hope to see you next week again, and have a good one.